Hello everyone, welcome to a new episode of Sweet Homebrew. As always, I'm Jurian.
Who knows who I am at this point? I've been so ambiguous with it.
It's just this slow existential crisis through the episodes is what keeps me going.
I'm Aria.
Yeah, and today we've decided to talk about, something important as usual. The wilderness and just traveling in general as mechanics and roleplay opportunities.
Yeah, it's something that I feel like a lot of people don't think about, and it's fun to talk about, especially in like the storytelling setting.
Yeah, because as much as I don't like to admit it, I definitely had a bit of a rough start in regard to traveling with my own campaign.
I wouldn't say you don't like to admit it. You admit it at any given opportunity. You take any chance you can get to distance yourself from the early days of Meteor's Heart.
Yeah, every time someone's like, "Hey, remember when Meteor's Heart?" I'm just like, "No," I just like start bleeding from my nose.
The olden days.
God,
it's like living before electricity.
Well, or when you had to hear that sound when you launched the internet. It's like that sound now. But yeah,
modem noises.
Yes. Oh yeah. I don't call him anything. I just call him the. Yeah, I know.
Okay.
There's the pointed silence. Anyway. So, just to describe, the traveling of Meteor's Heart was basically, you were at point A. It took you 1 week to be at point B. Anyway, you're here.
Yeah.
That was the extent.
Yeah, there was no, like, keeping watch or, like, there
eating
is no...
food.
No, it's just... like, I feel like you can... I would say that as a DM, if my party has rations, I assume they eat it whenever they take a short or long rest.
Yeah, it's one ration per day, so it would be every long rest.
Exactly. So I just assume they eat then. As for like the other shit, it's like, yeah, I'm gonna make you keep watch. Yeah, I'm gonna make you roll those perception checks, and there may or may not be a kobold that has perfectly stealthed into a barrel that you store your food in, but that's on y'all.
Yeah, I haven't really done that because when I started Meteor's Heart, I had a belief that the places and like landmarks I put in the game were enough, and traveling was going to take too much time away from the interesting tidbits. Lo and behold, I'm officially level 20 dumbass because I just gained my level 20 feature, which is oblivious to the truth.
Level 20 features always suck.
Yeah, well, exactly. This one just makes it so I have a disadvantage on every skill check that has to do with my brain, especially insight. I fail those.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just...
-5 to insight.
I mean, meanwhile, one of the best part of Meteor's Heart has been like a long journey to somewhere else.
Oh, yeah. I think that one part of travel that is the most important part when it comes to a party has nothing to do with the travel itself.
Yeah.
And that is characters keeping watch while the others sleep and just talking to each other. You build so many good and memorable moments and get so many... It's like once per day, you get a chance for characters to get to know each other and just fucking talk.
Because it's... Not only does it give perfect roleplay opportunity, because you're unburdened by anything other than like the fact that you traveled that day.
Yeah,
like what else do you have to talk about other than the events you lived
just current
before?
events, right? Like it gives you really nice character development opportunities. Like think about it. Critical Role is built off of that.
I never
All
watched
of
Critical
those,
Role,
well,
except for the But go
like
on.
they're built off of those. Hey, let's keep watch, and now these two characters are interacting with each other. It
So
sets
cool.
the stage within the confines of the game. You're not going out of the way or anything. You're not forcing a spotlight on anything. It's just party going, all right, who keeps watch? 2 people raise their hand. They sit down on a log together and then just talk about shit for like 5 minutes, and then the next group goes to watch. And that just gives you party interaction right there.
Yeah. It's so like travel gives you ample time to roleplay with those watches, because it's basically you have to be alone with someone else at all times. It sets how dangerous the area you're in is, because you wouldn't be keeping watch if the area was safe.
I don't know. I feel like you should keep watch if the area is safe, because it's often the safe places that dunk you the most.
Yep. But like it's obviously like you're suspicious of the area, so it's like, ooh, want to keep watch, or just like you survey around. Like example for me to his heart, a random door floating in the middle of nowhere that I got like the idea from something, and then like someone went through it and fought a hag alone. That was entertaining. But
who
yeah,
was
just a bunch of stuff.
Again,
it was Alina.
Yeah, it was Alina,
our cleric, who like fought a hag alone and then left, and then like, why are you covered in blood?
Didn't tell anyone.
Yeah, no one knows that she killed a hag. And she was like, no, I'm not covered in blood. What are you talking about? Bye. Anyway. But yeah, it's just, and small events like that really define a character.
Oh, yeah. It's really, really nice. Like, another example of it is, I'm going to take a direct example, is we were traveling across the whole continent to get to the north coast. So that way we could sail around the continent, because part of it has been nuked effectively and we can't go into that area. So we're getting to the north coast so we can sail around the nuked area. On that travel, just randomly, we're in our cart, we're minding our own business. There's just a bush, middle of the road, just bush.
I was waiting for you to think. I was wondering which event you were going to talk about.
Yeah, no, it's bush. And there's just a bush, middle of the road. So our 2 druids get out, poke the bush. Bush moves. Everyone's eyes lit up like they saw a puppy.
Because it truly was just a puppy.
It was
and
an awakened bush. And I have never seen 2 druids more happy than randomly finding an awakened bush in the road. And they just found it, and just like it, like they cast like speak with plants or whatever, like, or it can natively speak or something. We found out there was like some orcs or a while that like were very like druidic tribe and everything. And there was a brief conversation between our druids. And just that one little bush having that moment completely gave us a redefined view of one of the characters, being Luna, my wife's character, who is a druid. And it gave us a very good view on her value of life. And immediately after that, she spent like the next 2 weeks awakening a tiny little potted plant.
Yeah, and joy.
Joy.
We love that little
I love Joy so much.
This group is like the cute mascot group. There's Waffle, the tiny pseudo dragon. There's Joy, the little plant. I believe there was Dylan.
Yeah, there was Dylan until he got traded away.
He has a better family now.
I love Dylan.
I know. Just know he's very happy where he
Dylan.
is. Yeah. But yeah, but also even then, that like orc shaman was never expanded upon.
Yeah.
They never learned her name. She just had that Wigan bush and like lost it and like found it again, and then they left. So yeah, they never learned anything more, and then that whole thing kind of developed their characters anyway, and they left, and then they continued their journey, and they did mention it a few times again. But it wasn't like it's not part of the plot or anything. It's just it also explores the world. Mm-hmm. There was a tribe of druids or whatever, orcs close by that they never saw.
Yeah.
And that's pretty much the whole gist of that region. Had that, and that's it.
Yeah.
That's the problem I had with Meteor's Heart, is that I didn't explore the world more. And traveling helps a lot, because even places you don't stop, you're going to see stuff.
Yeah, the idea early on of like being a part of that big caravan and just making it just like, oh, you're kind of there, and then like you're done.
Oh yeah, so I should probably also I should mention how traveling worked. Not only did it suck, they traveled via someone else's caravan, so they had no control about almost anything.
There was no real agency in it.
It was just like someone bringing them. It was basically like having a taxi that was paid by someone else. It's like receiving an Uber from someone else.
Which, it's way cooler where we are now.
Yeah, now what happened is then later in the game when some people, I just like imagine like Matt just appearing slowly and shaking, where one of my players basically was like, hey, that'd be cool if we had that. And then I decided to give them a caravan that they personalized, bought like stuff, and arranged for their liking. And then they traveled all the way, which, how many days did you travel again? Like 80 or something? It was a lot.
For the entire travel from like Neons to the mountain.
Yeah, it was, I believe, like something like 80 days.
Yeah, it was like a quarter of a year or something like that.
Yeah, but obviously, like, it was like some days were very shortened. Yeah. But like, players could go, today I would like to speak to blank. And I'd be like, do it.
Yeah. What pace do you want to travel at? Like,
oh yeah, that travel could have taken like that travel could have taken so like
it could take
so much
a whole
time.
year.
Yeah, if they so decided, obviously they had a bit of like a maybe you should do it a bit quicker.
Yeah, obviously I feel like at all given chances we were trying to book it.
But when you decided, when you were like, maybe we should take a bit of time.
Yeah.
There was nothing that was going to be like, go faster. Yeah. I wasn't going to poke you in the sides.
Yeah.
Obviously I would never let you like wait 2 years to get there, because that would have been ridiculous.
No, the goddess would have nuked everything by then. Like, it nuked the rest of it.
Yeah, absolutely.
For context, by the way, a fire goddess destroyed half the continent. I keep saying nuked. That's
yeah. Nuked is I mean, it's the right term, but at least there's something behind it this time.
Yeah.
God, and no one knows.
Big ol' magma titties.
Is it a sin if
yes,
everyone who plays League of Legends, when the goddess showed up, the image I use is the Flame Akali. Because she looks like a big like fire goddess over people. I called it
immediately. It was great.
Yeah, it was like,
actually,
Akali.
I think I thought it was Diana at first because I hadn't seen that skin.
It's a very good looking like splash art, so I used it. We use art we see.
So something that I really liked about that traveling that you did during the we'll call it an arc, I guess, the travel arc.
Go on, praise me.
Was your use of both random and scripted encounters.
Thank you.
I really liked that, where there was the random shit and then just like the shit that you intended for, and both it actually worked out really well. The only one that was like, what the fuck was the sea hag in the ocean that almost tsunami'd us. If it weren't for the wild shit that Luna pulled with
Fennec. The poison.
Fennec pulled, yeah, with the poison and the, I think it was like the control water or something. I think we did control water.
Yeah, so basically what happened is while they were on the boat, they finally got a boat, like the whole situation before, and while they were traveling, it was a very powerful wizardess, I guess, who like appeared and what she
that was a sea hag.
No, she was a wizard.
Oh shit.
Sea hags are weak. Sea hags are real weak.
Oh.
Yeah, she was like a wizardess, kind of like a, I guess, like neutral. The chaotic neutral maybe, but showed up and was like, I want you all to give me the thing you hold the most dear, or else I'll turn your whole show upside down, yo. And then people were like,
No.
How about you literally eat shit? So like she summoned a tsunami, and then they had a poison that they made out of something they found that was basically a anti-magic poison.
So cool.
And which I wasn't expecting to be used, but just like one character did like a sneaky bitch move and then poisoned her, which completely released her concentration of the spell, and then she got washed away by our own tsunami spell.
Yeah, and we also got washed away, but our warlock had scatter and scattered us back onto the boat.
Yeah, and also everyone used like a bunch of stuff to like hold the ship together so it wouldn't like fly away in pieces.
Yeah.
And then it got repaired. So like that was so wild. Also, imagine randomly getting a legendary item.
That was
because that was a random event.
That was neat.
Yeah, they basically found a thing, they had to puzzle, and then they found a way to get a legendary item out of like a cocoon of ember.
Yeah. Oh yeah, the big rock in the ocean.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. I forgot about that.
And then that item got exchanged for something else, but it was still like, and those were random encounters, which if you've ever seen like there's a list online of like 100 sea encounters, and then I take one of them and inspire something else with it. So like that's the thing, resources online, use them.
They're so good.
But change them up a little bit.
We live in the age of information. If you are not taking ideas and using resources from what's directly given to you and like doing your own shit with them, I feel like you're really missing out.
It's called ethical stealing. But yeah, it's really good. I love the travel. It took a long time, and there was a lot of stuff.
Yeah, also, that travel was like what, 8 sessions?
Counting the like actual like quest in the middle. Yeah, approximately, yeah. That was actually pretty short, but it felt like a long time.
Well, we got so much done.
Yeah. Weirdly enough, like I was so afraid of like you'd get nothing done if I put travel. Meanwhile, that's the most you've ever got done. Yeah,
travel was the best part of it. Like after that travel, let's go over what we got. We got an awakened bush, a few magic items, PTSD. 2 of our party got cursed in a way that they can't communicate. Like we ended up saving some, preventing a native and colonizer war. Via dragons, like
via peaceful dragons.
We had an orgy with a bunch of fae on a boat.
Y'all were absolutely the only. You're the ones who made this. You created this.
But yeah, and all that came because of the travel setup.
Yeah. God, I love the travel. And then you arrived where you were supposed to go, and then a big quest, which. God, travel freedom is so fun.
It really, really is.
And then now the group is currently traveling through hell without the caravan. Sounds of distressed.
Fear.
But yeah, just now travel like by foot and then like through very dangerous territory, which better hold that breath every time the bell rings.
I don't need to. I'm dead.
Only Meteor's Heart player will know. Meteor's Heart things.
Yeah, you just every time you hear the bell, hold your breath or you might die. Dawn, who's already dead and already not breathing, just chilling. Just
like takes like leans against a chair.
Dude, that was the funny part. It was like when I got Phantom Rogue, like the subclass, I'm just like, all right, choose 2 things that like are relative, are like pretty much benign, but are a normal or a thing that a normal living human would do. What do you not do? I'm just like, she doesn't breathe and she doesn't have a heartbeat. Yeah, and it's just like, oh yeah, sure, that works. And it just worked out practically once, and then you just have to be like, yeah, sure, fuck you.
Yeah, because the moment I just went like, everyone hold your breath, and then you went like, I don't need to breathe. I'm like, what? and then you sure didn't need to, and I was like, well.
Shit.
Let's hope everyone else succeeds on their roles then.
Yeah. But no, traveling through hell has been terrifying and exactly the way it should be. Like,
yeah.
How, like, let's just go over, once again, traveling in hell. What have we done? It's been, what, 2 3 sessions at most, like 2.5.
Just, by the way, just to be sure, we didn't mention that last episode, but my hell is very different.
Yeah. But we're traveling through hell and like trying to get to the lower plane or like the lower layers of it, right?
So you got the whole limbo session, which you had to walk through a land while learning that if you think too hard,
if we think too hard, it becomes real.
And then you had the whole limbo session, like the whole limbo like dungeon.
I'm not counting that under travel.
Oh, you're right. That's not travel, but like so obviously that was a dungeon. So then afterward there was a whole city.
Yep.
Which nothing like arriving in a city and then immediately getting a tourist trap just really fucking you up. Someone just being like, I love tourists, so why don't you just follow me to a dangerous alley? And then
we smacked the tits out of those demons.
Oh, literally like heard from a battle with a dragon, didn't even long rest, barely short rested, and then you're just like,
oh yeah,
slap ass and skate fast, like just destroyed.
We short rested on the bird.
Because Dawn just went, the Aria's character, like just peace sign fades away to find a stealth check, like God. Dawn being a net 20 stealth check for 40 sessions straight.
Listen, I get one good roll with the character. Let me have it.
No, good.
Actually, no, my curse has been broken lately. But no, just talking about how we got, like, we went to the abyss, or not to the abyss, we went to limbo, and traveled through limbo to get to the Raven Queen, which is where she is in your cosmology. Yep. And then we go to hell, immediately get into shenanigans with demons, find the first villain we ever killed as a party. She comes and help us in a form of repentance. We boot up Lehman's tiny hut, come out of it. 3 like super demons are in our face.
Arias is what their name is. They're like the torturers of hell or some shit.
So the Sisters of Pain. So they show up, they say, hey, you shouldn't be here. And we go, yeah, we shouldn't be here. Let's get out of your face. And they say, okay, great, you got 10 minutes. And so we book it into town, buy some shit, run, get into the caravan. The caravan's master talks shit to the demons of hell because he's apparently also an Arc demon, which is cool as fuck.
Oh, yeah. First NPC they ever met that's been like the master of the caravan. They had the taxi that I talked about earlier.
Yeah.
Turns out that since the beginning, demon. He was Moloch, an Arc Devils.
Yeah, an Arc Devil. And so that happened. And now we're going through the caravan after recovering from that. Now we're at the point where the caravan doesn't happen. Immediately after getting out of it, God himself comes down and scoops our cleric to take her to the Phoenix Wright LARP.
You have to come with us. Why? Tell me the reason. We in Celestia call it a hiatus.
But no, so she's going to get tried for her crimes by God. So now we're in hell. We're down a cleric. So if like that's terrifying. And so we're moving forward. We find a demon trying to stealth on us, spying on us from the Sisters of Pain before. We trap him with planar binding, name him Dennis, get him to show us through hell, find like these torturers that are absolutely terrifying. We have Dennis distract him. We sneak around and we get to a bridge. Dennis lets the people on the bridge know that like it's fine, don't worry about it, because he's setting up to like trap us or whatever. We we finish that. We get into our realm, try to fist fight Dennis so that way he doesn't get back. Dennis gets away. We're in Frigidum at this point, so it's fucking cold.
Yeah, like, it's basically the layer of hell that's like all cold. It's called the Circle of Traitors. So it's where like people who are like betrayers end up.
Yeah, so this entirely cold place, a 100 on a D100 blizzard shows up. We retreat into Tiny Hut, try and fist fight Dennis to kill him because we're just like, well, we can't let him go back. He's just going to snitch on us. He runs away, snitches on us like we thought, And now all three of us are got manipulated by two more demon sisters to try and kill each other until we finally get where we want to go. That was 3 sessions, and entirely because of the travel.
Oh, by the way, want to have a fun fact? So in Frigidom, they're brothers, by the way. They're twin brothers.
Oh,
who are they're the first basically like traders of the world who like made the whole kingdom fall.
Yeah, they told us.
One of them has a bell, and he rings the bell every like hour.
Yep.
And then like people, basically, if people breathe, they detect it. So because only like people who are alive would breathe. Yeah. So basically when they like ring the bell and then like they just would spawn. So what happened is when Dennis escaped from the Lumen's tiny hut,
he failed in the blizzard.
He like went into the blizzard, and then they found him because he like and then that's why they were just like, oh, Lumen's tiny hut. Oh, interesting. And then they just waited until y'all came out.
That's we need to do a better job of hiding the hut, because now in Hell, both times we've cast it, as soon as we walked out, there's some sort of archdevils there. Like next time we walk out of that hut, Dawn's gonna walk out with her eyes closed, open her eyes, open them for a hug to embrace whatever eldritch bullshit is trying to give them shit now.
And then you just open it, like give a big hug to a Bello, and he's like,
which demon is here to... I just want to know which demon is here to shit on my porch like the neighbor's Shih Tzu. Like...
I mean, listen, I can't. There's a dungeon. I can't, like, put a weird demon before.
I mean, there's technically nothing stopping us from putting up Liamon's tiny hut in there.
Truly.
Yeah.
You just come out all armed to the like absolute like hell, haha, and then you just like unleash just a wave of destruction upon that one you're trying to kill.
Can you break through Liamon's tiny hut?
You can leave. The only person who can't leave is the one who cast it, because if he leaves, it ends.
Wait, no, because I'm like asking. So, say we like clear a room in a dungeon.
Mm-hmm.
We ritual cast tiny hut.
Mm-hmm.
Go into the tiny hut, ritual cast a bunch of shit to prepare going into the next room while we're protected in the tiny hut.
Yeah. You can only affect stuff inside, though, for sure, of course.
Well, yeah, but if, like, say our...
Yeah, Luna could, like, summon a whole ass elemental.
Noted.
You're a sick one. God damn it.
I just love how much is enabled by travel in D&D, which is why I'm really excited for in my game will be very focused on the party just going places.
Yeah, I hope I get better and better at that. My next campaign is going to have a huge focus on traveling from place to place.
Oh yeah, both of ours will.
Absolutely. Like, even Frank's next campaign.
The thing with mine, it'll be very easy to get to points, but there will be a lot of traveling within those points themselves, if that makes any sense.
Yep. Yeah, that's kind of like the same vibe as my next campaign, is because like space travel would be pretty easy, but when you're on the planet you want to be there.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, so that's kind of where my campaign is going, because like there'll be the main city where it's like kind of the hub of the entire world. And all of the rest of the world, it has a name to it. I'm just not spoiling the name.
Yeah, I know.
And in that world, it's split up into different realms, like different areas of the world, and they can all be accessed through large archway teleportation gates.
Ooh, so fancy travel.
Yeah, so because magic is like to that world what electricity is to this world, just less modern, more like Magitech fantasy. Think like
so
Final
like
Fantasy.
High fantasy
yeah,
setting,
think like
basically.
Final Fantasy 9.
I haven't played that game, but yes, I know of the kind of technology. Yes.
Yeah, so there's like that, and so having those portals is like a big infrastructure that like a whole bunch of like shit is done to like maintain it and everything, so you can use that to get to any point in the world you want to. after that point, you got to go yourself.
Yeah.
So,
which, can I just say, I'm actually really glad that the way that Wizard of the Coast made teleport the way it is. Mm-hmm. Like, you have to have been there at least once before.
Oh, yeah.
Because otherwise I would hate
You have to study
teleport.
the circle.
Yeah, the teleport circle is pretty good. But, like, the teleport spell, like, level 7 spell, it's, like, you need to, like, to be sure you get there without, getting destroyed by the power of the cosmos and chaotic magic, you have to be you need to have been there, otherwise you might just teleport to somewhere similar. If you go like, I want to be in a mountain, well, there's a lot of them on the continent, so you might not end up where you wanted.
Yeah. I mean, I like to think that magic in general is very monkey's paw-esque, where you have to be very careful about how you word shit, because magic in itself is chaotic.
Yeah. It's like listen here. If monkeys typed on a typewriter wanted they would write Shakespeare, it's like one time a wizard will say the right words and then maybe you won't get dismembered by a portal.
What do you think the monkey's paw means?
There's a lot of monkeys and metaphors. You've never heard of the monkey thing?
No, I have. That is
is that the monkey's paw?
No, that's not at all what I'm talking about.
I'm
not
very
even
confused.
Remotely.
I don't know what you're talking about then. We're officially idiots. I mean, and by that I mean I'm officially an idiot. Wow.
I'll let you Google that one yourself.
Well, perfect, because we have a break, so I'll be able to Google that during the break.
Oh, baby.
We'll be back for more traveling while I travel to Google and try to find what the fuck we're talking about.
See y'all in a moment. Hey, everyone. Welcome back to Home Sweet Homebrew. Jurian is still never used to the way I start that.
I'm also going to act as if I looked at your face doing that, and it looked for a second like you just saw like the entire world get nuked. Yeah. So, welcome back.
Dawn's seen that like 3 times now.
And now, I realize I didn't Google the thing.
No, you didn't.
Because I'm what? ADHD.
Yes.
And that's what the subject... No, I'm kidding.
This podcast... It is a 2-parter.
Listen here. This podcast is sponsored by ADHD. Travel.
Another really important part about travel that I think is beyond like the character building moments and the world building moments is it can make for a very unique challenge in D&D that like normal combat can't do. I think a lot of D&D and games miss out on kind of those out of combat uses for magic or out of combat uses for your skills that travel very uniquely provides. Yeah. And listen, sometimes you need to cater to your ranger. It's all they have.
It's literally all they have. It's like, oh, we're traveling in the forest, and your ranger looks at you with bright, shiny eyes. And then you go,
I'm useful.
And so you're out of the forest, and then he just, like, loses all the shine.
Yeah, it goes from extreme joy to deadpan immediately.
And then you ask your druid for survival. Oh, but, I mean, I used that a few times with your side. I mean, the one time where you had to climb a mountain.
That was cool.
And then everyone used their own way. Hello, the druid transformed into a bird.
Yeah, the druids turned into shit. Our warlock teleported once.
The monk
the rest of the
was a Chad.
I mean, yeah, the rogue and the monk had no issue whatsoever.
It's like, do an athletic check. Both you and the monk to have like plus 12s. I'm like, well.
Yeah. Plus 12. I have a plus 15. Put some respect on my stats. Expertise, bitch.
As a DM, I am now caught blindsided. I keep forgetting that you have like expertise.
Yeah, I have like plus 1,000,000 in all of my stats. It feels good. Feels really good to be a worse bard.
Yeah, listen here. Feels really good when I used athletic once every about 10 sessions.
You let me choose between athletics and acrobatics.
Yeah,
occasionally.
depending on what you have to
But
do.
they're going to be different stats soon.
The surprise. But yeah, but it's true. Like, it's so easy to put, like, you do it like a trap. It's like, instead of being like a seesaw that just like destroys you, it's like, oh no, a landslide, or oh no, rocks falling, or maybe it was an old bear trap left in the middle of the road that someone just like forgot like a long time ago. It's like all rusty.
That would be so funny. Your level 20 character accidentally steps on a bear trap and dies of tetanus.
Like several weeks later.
Yeah. No one realizes, so they don't cast Greater Restoration or anything.
Oh no, I can't believe him. He died doing what he loved. Oh, killing monsters? No, gangrene. Like,
what?
He was a necromancer, so he really liked it.
The fuck are you talking about?
Things that go in my brain.
Okay, back to travel.
Yes, but yeah, just it's very easy to do that. Also, I know it's very easy in the world of D&D. You just give your players a shop that has like 25,000 million rations. I can't wait for the day where I finally can put my players in a moment where they have to find their own food.
That's really, really fun.
Because it's so easy for them. Like, rations are so cheap.
Ranger,
it's so easy. Just buy a
Ranger.
Like, just like buy yourself 100 rations and you're good for the rest of the game. It's heavy. So easy. It's to the point where, like, 8 meters hard, I don't use rations because it's so easy for either the druid to cast Goodberry or for the group to buy 1,000,000 ration with the money they have that, like, I don't even count it at this point. You're always gonna have food.
Druids make that a little funky for sure.
Yeah. So like that's why I just kind of like never really used it because I knew how futile it was until I actually create a moment where like, oh, food is being really scarce, so you have to find it. But like it doesn't really happen in other fantasy universes because anyone can just create. You can druid craft yourself a meal.
Yeah, if you have no druids in your party, then you can really do some fun stuff. But
yeah, you can have a ranger.
Druids.
Maybe a sorcerer can help.
Oh my! Shut the fuck up.
Hey, sorcerer, can you cast me that sweet, sweet chaos bolt and nourish me with your powers? I'm getting looked at with such disapproval.
Familiar faces.
Find out places. But yeah, just like survival itself as a travel mechanic is just ridiculously easy in 5e.
Yeah.
To the point where you have to put your characters through hell, literally, for them to even care a little bit about their survival.
If they're level 12, like, I think definitely early on, like, I definitely think you need to scale your travel as games go. So, for example, you have a party of level 5 characters, right? They're, like, still newer on their journey, but they've got a little bit of experience now. They're starting to figure out their things. They're starting to really get into, like, their class and everything. Now
they're local heroes.
Getting a few levels. Yeah, they've saved, like, one place already and caused, like, 3 times as many problems in the process. Normal D&D party shit, right? They're traveling, and they're sitting out for watch or everything. I, as a DM, will be like, okay, roll perception, or like as you're like traveling, like this happens or this happens. And that's like an active threat to the party. If a group of bandits comes and tries to raid their camp, like raid a camping party, and they have to get into a fist fight with them, that's great. That's an active threat at that level. If you have a party of like level 12, level 13 characters, they could smite a group of bandits with a wrath gods haven't seen if they wanted to. So you don't necessarily need to do it at that point of travel. So my party's traveling at that point, I'm just like, yeah, you make it there. honestly. Like,
It'd be
there's no
chef.
point in me saying, like, you see, like, a group of bandits waiting on the side of the road. At that point, it's, like, a mild inconvenience at worst. And, like, an annoyance. Or it's, like, a slight annoyance at best and or blah, blah, blah. Slight annoyance at worst, like, something funny at best of them just, like, dunking on a group of bandits that would have given them trouble early on. But the scale of danger for travel, for what you actually choose to do as a DM, needs to scale as the campaign goes up. So like Jurian said earlier, we're traveling earlier on, we're like out in the woods or something, roll, because like we might get in a fight with like some mountain lions or something. That's like a real threat. But like we're so powerful now. Well, now we're traveling in hell. You wouldn't have made us roll for shit like traveling for stuff in the random woods.
Yeah,
but like now that we're in hell,
maybe
that's some dangerous shit.
If I had to make you travel in the woods, I would make it so you travel in the woods. It's like, oh, I heard there's giants in that wood or something.
Yeah, you need to scale shit. Like, and if there's no way for you to scale, like with suspending your disbelief or something, just let them walk through the fucking woods. Like, maybe they did find some random jackass on the side of the road trying to hold people up at knife point. That's literally not gonna matter. And if the dude has any brain about him, he wouldn't even jumped out in the first place as soon as you see a fucking paladin with a fire sword just walking around.
Yeah, you kind of just go like, never mind. Like, you just stumble up with this dude, and the first thing he does is toss the ostriches like towards you. Like, never mind, I give up.
Yeah, I think it's very funny though. Like, and for the record, if you get the chance to like let your party see how far they've come, where you have like a group of bandits show up at like a Aria camping, give them a bunch of trouble, and then now they're like level 10, level 15, like somewhere in there. A group of bandits shows up again. And then your party just vaporizes Richard off the face of the planet, and the other bandits are just like, ah,
Richard, damn it, he owed me money.
Or just like intimidate them. Like, I think that's a lot of fun. But you don't necessarily need to do that as travel. It should definitely scale as you go.
Yeah, obviously, I mean, the quest you give your players should already put them in a situation where the terrain is more dangerous. But
sure.
But anything that your players will literally pass through like a hot knife through butter is useless to put in front of them. Like, you want to challenge your players. If you go like, oh my god, there's a cliff in front of you. It's a pretty steep cliff. Like, they all have fly. They can literally jump higher than this.
One of them can wild shape into a spider. The other one can dimension door. The other one can fly. The other one has a plus 13,000 to acrobatics. And then the paladin.
Yeah. The paladin, which like someone else will just like teleport dimension door.
Yeah, dimension door with the warlock.
Yeah, it's like, if like the only way you do that specifically is to waste people's resources, which can be a pretty good thing. It's like, are you going to really use one of your spells if you can't short us out afterwards? But also another thing that I realized, battles, like the if you have one battle during an entire day of travel and the players know it's the only battle they'll have, like in 5e, you have a lot of resources. They will dunk on everything. They will kill something that's 4 times their difficulty level, because it's just, they can just like waste all their spell slots no matter what. And then that's done. Back to a long rest, please. You really need to like think about your travel as like, when do they get long rests, and how many things can you put in a row so that it actually becomes
that's very
a threat.
important. The rest timing is a very, very important part of it, I think.
That's why you put, I think most people in like a dungeon, you short rest once or twice and have a long rest at the end, usually. If it's a very big dungeon, then you'll have a long rest in the dungeon itself. And
I assume you're using dungeon as like a general term, just like an area that they're working through, not necessarily like a cave or something.
No, yeah. Like a dungeon being like
a concept.
Yeah, a whole, like a specific place with like like rooms and
more powerful than normal people.
Yeah. Cool. But like that usually is a pretty good thing. So like for me at least, I try my best to give at least 2. Like my players usually short rest twice because they have a warlock, so he needs it.
You have 2 warlocks.
I have 2 warlocks, so they need it.
You have 1.5 warlocks.
Yeah.
I'm here, damn it.
I matter.
All 3 levels of it.
I mean, yeah, it's still warlock.
Yeah, I want my fucking Misty Step back.
Listen here. Don't you have? Yeah, of course. It's but yeah, like you need to give your players out, like, because if you just that's what a mistake I made is I kept giving my players obstacles where they could just rest right afterwards.
Yeah,
like you should almost treat, especially dangerous terrain travel, as its own small scale dungeon of several obstacles in one day. And like if it's 4 days of travel, make it so like day 1 and 2 are pretty nice, and then day 3 is when it's like a small scale dungeon, so that it won't just be what battle day 1, then obstacle day 2, then obstacle day 3, and then battle day 4. Because otherwise, you'll just have a fully rested party 4 times.
Yeah,
and they don't care.
Yeah, I think that also another point is like when they're resting up for like a long rest or whatever. If you need to have them keep watch, think about like the timings of it and if the whole party can get a full rest alternating watch based on how many people are watching, right? Because if you have a party of 5 and 2 people keep watch for X amount of time, someone's not going to be getting enough sleep.
Except if they're an elf. Oh, the elf paladin, one of the campaign I was in, was like primary watch every single night.
I mean, fair enough, but like it's an important thing to think about. Like, points of exhaustion suck.
Yeah.
So make them threatening.
As long as you can. As long as you can. Use that exhaustion rule. Like it is the way you like look at your players and go, you think you can just walk over my campaign?
Yeah, no. Exhaustion sucks for the players, but it does a very good job of teaching them their limits. I say this as the player that has dealt with exhaustion points more than anyone else because of haste. But, like, exhaustion really, really does good to set pace for things. Like, if you try and push this too far, you can, but understand that there are consequences. And you can use that really effectively in travel. It's like, okay, you just walked for, like, 12 hours... got in a fist fight with some bugbears, and you want to keep going?
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Also, clarification: the haste we're talking about is a homebrew thing. That's why it gives exhaustion levels.
Yeah. Oh shit! You're right. I completely forgot. Like that's not normal.
Yeah, it's just like wait. But yeah, exhaustion is very powerful.
Yes.
Where. Especially when, because I believe you can do certain checks to not get exhaustion after resting, but the problem though is you don't get anything, because that's why a lot of stuff say every long rest, not every day. Because if something comes back like at dawn or like at the next day or whatever, it comes back whether you rest or not.
Yeah,
but your spells don't come back if you don't do a long rest.
Yeah.
Which is a huge thing, because if you put your players in a situation where it's like, hey, the temperature is really shitty. Where are you going to sleep? Oh, the ground in the middle of the plain? Do you think you're going to get a nice night's sleep? Good luck.
Yeah. Hope you have tiny hut.
Oh, you're a warlock and you didn't pick up Pact of the Tome?
Ooh.
Seems like you're...
better try and...
wish you had a ranger with you, didn't you?
Yeah, but you had a ranger with you, but you wish you had your druid.
Yeah, I mean, druid.
But
I believe
it also, I feel like we should mention that because it's true. And again, this podcast isn't like, oh, we're telling you how to run your game or anything. We're just saying what we think. We're just rambling about a topic. But just like, you got to think about like what your party is made of, like, and make your travel kind of scale with that. Because if you have a party of a warlock, a paladin, a rogue, a monk, and a fighter. None of them, unless that warlock takes like Pact of the Tome or something, none of them are going to be good for like survival shit or travel. None of them can cast Tiny Hut. None of them can cast like any food or rations. None of them are like a ranger or druid and can like find like a good place to camp or whatever with that like mini feat thing.
Yeah.
None of them will be able to do that. So travel's a lot more threatening to them. If you have a party of a druid, a subclass druid, a ranger, a Pact of the Tome warlock, and a wizard, and like whatever else, those guys are fine.
But then they're going to have difficulty with other stuff. Basically,
Exactly.
the challenge has to be what is challenging to the group. Because if the group can bypass something with something as simple as just, I'll roll a single survival die, maybe it's not the biggest obstacle in the world.
Yeah.
You can do it. It would be a good idea to put some of those so that you can kind of like allow your player to flex, being like, and you thought Ranger was useless? Look at me, roll this die and save us. And then you just hear, that one.
Yeah.
And then they get
it's just,
yeah.
Maybe like have your party like, and it doesn't, not every campaign needs to be like gritty survival, like, oh, you need to go find water and your rations are low and like how are you going to survive the cold of the night, but just like maybe have them find and make a shelter. Maybe have that become a group bonding moment of just like, oh, we need to go find shelter. Well, hijinks are about to ensue because one of them's a druid and does not want to cut down a tree. The other one is a rogue and does not give two shits about your trees. And then, like, there we go, party dynamic.
That sounds like a moment that could actually happen in Meteor's Heart, to be honest.
Yeah, it's just like
Fennec being like, this is not how nature intended. This is not the order of things.
While Alina is there, she already like cut down the entire forest.
Oh yeah, she's like.
Yeah, no, everything always comes back to the players and the way that they roleplay things, and giving and having travel is just more chances for your players to roleplay together, and I think that's neat.
That's what should be the tagline of our podcast. Homebrew and roleplay are cool. They're neat.
I just think they're neat.
But yeah, just God, travel really was a journey, literally, in our own campaigns. Can't wait to see how you actually do it, because I feel like travel is like a really personal thing. It really shows how much the DM cares or not about building up a world.
Are you talking about my game?
Your game. Yeah, for sure. I'm actually excited to see how much you'll handle it, because it seems like an important part of your thing. Like in terms of like how much do you describe the environment, how much do you care about weather, and how much do you care about different travel you find. Like how much do you care about people taking different roads? Because when we had that big travel in Meteor's Heart, I kind of like had the players talk about like the different possibilities, and then the NPCs were like, because one of the NPCs was a very like huge tactician, like information person, and he was like, well, this is the best road, and the group kind of like went, all right, and so they kind of took that road. But if they like really wanted to, I couldn't have really stopped them if they really wanted to take a different road. But obviously it was not the most optimal.
Yeah.
But if at some point I should have maybe went like, well, you're in front of like a big forest and that part isn't civilized, like which way you could try to go. That could have been a very interesting thing.
Yeah, we followed the main roads pretty much the entire time.
But the main roads can be very dangerous.
They sure can.
I can't believe you got attacked by bandits only once in an entire trip.
Yeah, the most dangerous thing we found was that animated bush that derailed the party for an hour.
Yeah, it's not about how difficult and deadly the things are. It's how much you can just halt the progression of your players. Just put any cute stuff in the middle of a road and wait until your players finally decide to move on.
Someone will adopt it.
Absolutely. I feel it's funny how much of an inside joke among like all D&D players it is that groups will eventually end up with a zoo. Of like all animals, creatures, to like adopt a tiny droplet of elemental water that like speaks.
Yeah, I named it Daryl.
Dennis. Even you adopt devils, like goddamn.
Have you not noticed that I've named everything like a D name? Yeah.
Dylan, Dennis, Daryl. What is that obsession?
I didn't notice it until just now.
I just think D is a very nice sound.
Listen, I'm focused on the D. I have priorities.
I just think they're neat. I think they're neat.
Anyway, I don't think there's anything else we can really talk about in terms of travel.
No,
unless
I think
there's anything else you wanted to touch on.
I mean, not really. As much as I love traveling, it's kind of like a limited subject in terms of like,
yeah,
like all that matters is just. It's kind of like the same thing as last episode. It's just you have to know your world so that you know where the players will be situated.
Well, yeah.
Like obviously, in the middle of a nice grassland, you're not gonna put like, I roll a d20 and oh no, a blizzard. Like,
I mean, that's a good plot hook at the start of the game. Oh, guys, the weather's all fucky. What does it mean?
Sorry, did you just read the Icewind Dale Rem the Frost Maiden book?
Your accent was so thick, I have no idea what the fuck you just said. Anyway, y'all, thank you for coming to watch Home Sweet Homebrew.
Isn't that the spirit of this podcast? Me talking and no one understanding me, and then you just being there.
Gotta love the French-Canadian accent. I think it's cute. I think you have a cute accent, Jurian.
Yes! Well, on that praise, just so we end on a good note.
Bye, y'all.
Au revoir.